What exactly is an opportunity in Dynamics 365 sales? Is it just another name for a lead, or does it mean a customer is genuinely close to buying? A lead is early interest, but an opportunity is a sales conversation with enough shape to track as a possible deal. It tells you who might buy, what they might buy, and when it could close. Welcome to another Microsoft Knowledge Nugget on M365. FM, EAU Mirko Peters, and WeOutTM will follow that possible deal from its first serious conversation all the way to a clear result. Won or lost. 1. What an opportunity actually is. Think about how many sales teams used to work. Someone sends an email after a trade show, a salesperson scribbles a note, a call happens, and then a few details get dumped into a spreadsheet. The customer asks for pricing, but the notes sit in a mailbox, the spreadsheet lives in a shared folder, and nobody can tell how real the deal actually is. That kind of setup causes real problems. You don't know who owns the next action. You can see the customer expected budget, and when a manager asks what might close this month, people start guessing. An opportunity gives that sales conversation one shared home. In plain English, an opportunity is a potential sale linked to a customer record. That customer could be an account, like a company, or a contact, like an individual person. It is now the company itself. Imagine Contoso is already a customer in Dynamics 365. Over time, Contoso might buy more than one thing from you, maybe 125 CRM licenses this month, training services later, and a support package next year. Those are separate buying conversations. Each conversation can become its own opportunity, with its own amount, close date, products, people, and outcome. So you do now ultimately create one giant record called AU Contoso Sales, AU. Instead, you create a deal folder for each possible sale. Think of Dynamics 365 sales like an office building. The customer account is the company name on the reception list. The contact is the person you meet inside. An opportunity is the deal folder you carry from room to room while the sales work moves forward. That folder keeps the facts together. At the top, you give the opportunity a topic O, a short name people see when they scan an opportunity list. It needs to tell a useful story without opening the record. 125 CRM licenses for Contoso Inc. works well because you can see the product, quantity, and customer in one quick glance. New deal does not tell anyone much, especially when a sales team has dozens of open opportunities. The opportunity also records who the customer is, who owns the deal inside your company, how much revenue you expect, and the date you think the customer may decide. You can add a probability too. Probability is no time to promise it outcomes the sales team outcomes judgment about the chance of winning, based on what they know at that point. A deal with a real budget, a known decision maker, and a clear date usually deserves more confidence than a casual conversation with no next meeting booked. These details help you work the deal day to day, but they also feed the sales forecast. When you look across all open opportunities, estimated revenue and potential close dates give the team a picture of money that could arrive soon. If those dates are old or the amounts are guesses, the forecast becomes a neat-looking screen full of bad information. Keep the opportunity current, and the picture becomes useful. You can see which deals need attention. Managers can see what the team expects to close. A colleague can step in without searching through old emails because the deal folder holds the shared facts. Now, before you start filling in that folder, there is one practical question. Where did this potential sale come from? 2. How opportunities enter Dynamics. 365 sales. Most opportunities start as leads. But here's the thing, they don't have to. A lead is where you store an early signal of interest while you figure out if there's a real buying conversation happening. Maybe someone filled out a form, you met them at an event, or they replied to a campaign asking for more details. After a few conversations, you know more. The customer has a real need. They have a possible budget. Someone is willing to talk about a purchase. When the lead looks ready for sales work, you qualify it. Dynamics 365 sales then creates an opportunity from that lead. Information from the lead carries over automatically, so your sales team doesn't have to retype the same customer details. The lead and the new opportunity stay linked too, which makes it easy to look back at where the conversation started. That link keeps the early history within reach. Activities and notes from the lead become visible from the related opportunity record. If someone logged a phone call, recorded an email, or wrote down what the prospect asked for, the next salesperson can find that context without digging through separate records. Once qualification happens, Dynamics 365 closes the lead record. That doesn't mean the information vanishes. It means the work changes shape. The team stops treating this person or company as an early prospect and starts managing a specific possible sale through the opportunity. Picture a sales rep named Alex. Alex talks to a contact who downloaded a product guide. At first, nobody knows whether the contact is browsing or actively planning a purchase. After a few conversations, the contact explains that their company needs 125 licenses and expects to decide this quarter. Alex qualifies the lead. Dynamics 365 creates the opportunity, connects it to the original lead, and lets Alex continue from the information already collected. The sales conversation can now move forward without losing its starting point. Still, a lead is only one door into the system. You can create an opportunity directly when there was never a lead to qualify. An existing customer might call and ask for an additional service. A trusted partner may introduce you to a buyer, or your account manager might spot a renewal discussion during a customer meeting. Those situations already point to a possible deal. Creating the opportunity directly lets you record it straight away. Even though it didn't come through a marketing list or an early lead process, you start with the customer and the facts you know, then fill in more as the conversation develops. Dynamics 365 also includes a way to copy an opportunity for repeat deals. Though Microsoft currently labels this as a preview feature, imagine a customer buys the same type of package again with similar products and terms. Instead of entering every field from scratch, you can copy the earlier opportunity, review the new record, and change details like the amount and dates before you save it. That can save time, but a copied opportunity isn't a clone of every bit of history. The new record starts open and returns to the first sales stage. The person copying it becomes the owner. Actual closed dates and actual revenue are blank, and a competitor from a lost deal doesn't carry over. Activities, notes, attachments, quotes, orders, invoices, and the timeline stay with the original opportunity. That separation makes sense. The old calls and documents belong to the old deal, while the new opportunity needs its own history from the first conversation onward. With an opportunity now in place, the process bar starts asking the questions a salesperson needs to answer before calling the deal ready to close. 3. The sales pipeline, 4 stages that keep deals honest. Across the top of an opportunity, Dynamics 365 Sales shows a process bar. Microsoft calls it a business process flow, which sounds more complex than it needs to. Think of it as a visible path for the sales conversation. It doesn't sell anything for you. It doesn't prove a deal will close. What it does is remind you which questions still need answers before you move the opportunity forward. The standard process includes 4 stages: qualify, develop, propose, and close. Each stage asks for a different kind of information. That matters because a deal can feel promising after one good meeting, while the customer still hasn't shared a budget, named the person who decides, or agreed on when they will choose. The first stage is qualify. By this point, you collect the basic facts about the customer and their possible purchase. You identify the contact you are working with and link the opportunity to the right account. You also ask about the purchase timeframe. Is the customer thinking about buying this month, this quarter, or sometime next year? A rough answer is better than no answer because it gives the team a starting point for the expected decision. Then there is budget. Estimated budget means the money the customer may have available. It isn't the same as the revenue you expect from the sale. A customer might have a budget of $50,000, while the product package you propose only costs $30,000. The process also asks how the customer makes buying decisions. One person may choose a loan. A larger company may use a committee with someone from finance, IT, procurement, and the business team involved. You need to know which kind of decision you are dealing with because the next steps look very different. And then you identify the decision maker. A friendly contact can help you understand the problem, but they may not control the budget or approve the final purchase. Marking the decision maker step complete means you know who can actually move the deal forward. You can also capture a short summary. That summary gives anyone opening the opportunity a quick view of the situation without asking them to read every call note first. Once you understand the basic shape of the deal, you move into develop. This is where the conversation gets more specific. You record the customer need. What are they trying to fix, improve, replace, or achieve? Perhaps their sales team tracks customer details in separate spreadsheets and can't see the full history when someone calls. That is the need. Next, you record the proposed solution. This is your answer to that need, such as a set of Dynamics 365 sales licenses, setup help, and training for the sales team. The stage also asks you to identify stakeholders. Stakeholders are people on the customer side who take part in the deal, even if they don't sign the final approval. A sales manager may care about reporting. An IT lead may care about security and setup. A finance person may care about cost. Their concerns can change the whole conversation. Develop also includes competitors. If the customer is looking at another supplier or another product, record that when you know it. You don't need to guess. But if the customer tells you they are comparing options, your team should see that before presenting a proposal. Then comes propose. At this point, you are ready to put a solution in front of the customer. The process asks you to identify the people from your own company who will help with the deal. A larger opportunity may need a salesperson, a product expert, and someone who can answer technical questions. Even a smaller deal may need an internal review, so another person checks that the proposal matches what the customer asked for. You develop the proposal. That might include the products, pricing, scope of work, or terms the customer needs to review. Dynamics 365 lets you attach proposal files to the opportunity so the working record can point to what the customer received. Before you send or present it, complete the internal review. This avoids a common problem. A salesperson sends a document that promises something the delivery team can't provide or uses pricing that hasn't been approved. The customer presentation comes after that internal check. Only then do you move to close. Close doesn't mean the customer already agreed. It means the deal reached the final part of the buying conversation. You complete the final proposal and present it to the customer. You confirm the expected decision date rather than leaving an old date in the record from a meeting 2 months ago. The process also includes sending a thank you and filing a debrief. A thank you keeps the conversation professional, whether the answer is yes or no. A debrief captures what the team learned while the details are still fresh, especially when several people worked on the opportunity. Keep the stage current. Dynamics 365 uses stages in charts and dashboard views, including funnel charts that show how many opportunities sit at each point in the sales process. If people leave every deal in propose because it sounds close, the funnel can look healthy, while the sales team has no clear decision dates or approved budgets. Imagine a salesperson tells the manager, "Oh, this software deal should close soon." Oh, it sounds good. But the qualify stage still shows no known budget, and nobody has identified the decision maker. The customer contact likes the product, but they may only be gathering information for someone else. That deal isn't ready to be treated like a near certain sale. The process bar doesn't replace good sales judgment, but it gives that judgment a place to show its work. Stages tell you where the conversation sits. The opportunity record holds the money, products, and history behind it. Item 4. Building a deal record you can trust so you owe TM. We got a sales conversation moving forward. The process bar shows that. But the real work lives in the opportunity record, the place where your team keeps all the working details. Think of it as the shared file for one possible sale. You keep the customer discussion, the expected revenue, the products they are ultimately considering, the calls, the meetings, and the open tasks all in one spot. That way, nobody has to rebuild the story from memory before the next customer call. Let's start with the numbers people usually ask about first. Estimated revenue is the amount you expect this opportunity could bring in. Potential close date is when you expect the customer to decide. Together, those two fields help a manager see what might land in a given month or quarter. But they need honest updates. If a customer pushes their decision from June to September, change the potential close date the moment you learn that. Leaving June in the record might to make the sale happen faster. It only gives the team a false picture of what terms ahead. You can enter estimated revenue yourself when you don't yet know the full product list. Later, when you add products, Dynamics 365 can calculate the revenue from product prices, quantities, and discounts. That gives the amount more detail because it ties the expected money to the things the customer may actually buy. Probability sits right next to those numbers and it needs the same care. A probability is your TM's view of the chance of winning. It helps people look at a group of open deals with more context, but it does not turn a guess into a forecast you can rely on. Let the customer conversation guide it. A deal where the buyer agreed on the solution, budget, and decision date can carry more confidence than one where a contact simply asked for a brochure. If the buyer stops replying or adds a new approval step, lower the probability rather than keeping an old optimistic number, then add the products. An opportunity can include product line items, the individual items the customer may buy. For a software sale, that could mean 125 licenses, a training package, and setup services. Each line carries a quantity and pricing details. This connects the deal to the actual proposal. It also keeps an important rule in place. The opportunity and its product lines use the same currency. If the opportunity uses US dollars, the product lines use US dollars too, and records created from the opportunity, like quotes, orders, or invoices, follow that same currency. Changing currency later can take a little work. Dynamics 365 1 let you change the opportunity currency while product lines still sit on the record. You remove those line items first, change the currency, then add the right items again. That stops one deal from mixing amounts that do now belong together. Numbers matter, but sales work happens through conversations. Use the activity area for phone calls, meetings, emails, and tasks. After a customer call, record what changed, who needs to do something next, and when that action should happen. Before your next call, you can see the last discussion without searching your inbox. Notes hold the extra context that does not fit neatly into a field. Maybe the customer prefers a phased setup. Maybe their finance team needs a certain document before approval. Write it down while it terms fresh, using clear words that another person can understand. The owner field gives one person responsibility for keeping the opportunity moving. That does not mean they work alone. A sales manager, product specialist, or colleague can all take part. But the owner makes sure the next step does not disappear because everybody assumed somebody else would handle it. A good opportunity record lets the wider team work from the same facts. If the owner takes a day off, the customer does now need to repeat their story. If a manager asks about the amount or expected date, the answer sits in the record rather than in someone ultimate's head. Keep it current as the deal changes. A well-filled record supports the team during the sale, but eventually the customer reaches a decision and Dynamics 365 needs that decision recorded clearly. 5. Winning, losing, and learning from every deal. Eventually, the customer reaches a decision. When that happens, don't know what team meant, just change a status field and move on. Dynamics 365 Sales treats closing an opportunity as a formal action because the outcome affects the sales record, the forecast, and the way your team reviews its work later. You close it as won or lost. Won means the customer agreed to buy. The opportunity no longer sits in the open pipeline as money that might arrive because the sale has a confirmed result. The record stays in Dynamics 365. That matters because a won opportunity contains the history of how the deal came together. Later, someone can see the customer need, the proposal, the activity history, and the final result without trying to remember a deal from months ago. Closing as lost matters just as much. A lost opportunity does not disappear, and it should not. The customer may come back later. The same customer may still buy a different product. Your team may also need to understand why the conversation stopped, rather than quietly pretending the deal never existed. When you choose won or lost, Dynamics 365 opens an opportunity close form. This is where your organization can collect the final details it wants people to record. For a won deal, that could include the actual revenue. For a lost deal, it may include the reason the customer chose not to buy. Keep that reason useful. Our lost DAO tells you nothing. Our budget removed. Our selected a competitor. Our project delayed until next year. Our gives the team a real reason they can review later. Competitor information can help too, when you know it. Suppose several opportunities close as lost because customers choose the same competing product. That does not automatically mean your product is wrong, but it gives sales leaders a question to investigate. Are customers hearing a clearer message from that competitor? Is there a pricing concern? Does the team need better answers to a common objection? The closed record gives those conversations some evidence. Without it, a manager sees only a list of deals that did not close. With a clear loss reason, they can look for patterns across many opportunities, while still remembering that each customer made their own decision. A clean close also changes the forecast. Open opportunities represent possible future revenue. Closed opportunities record results. When sellers leave old deals open because closing them feels uncomfortable, the pipeline starts carrying money that no longer has a real chance of arriving. That can lead to bad decisions. A manager might expect a strong quarter, plan around that expected revenue, and only discover too late that several liau deals had already stalled or gone elsewhere. Closing loss doesn't automatically create the problem. It lets the team see the problem while there is still time to respond. Imagine a customer chooses another supplier after weeks of meetings. The salesperson could leave the opportunity open, perhaps hoping the customer changes their mind. But the customer has signed elsewhere, so the active sale has ended. Closing it as lost records the result, captures what happened, and removes an amount from the open forecast that the team should not count on. That is honest sales management. The same habit applies to wins. If the customer confirms the purchase, close it as one rather than leaving it in a late sales stage while the next steps happen outside the system. A sale that already closed should now keep inflating the open pipeline. Update the record when the customer conversation changes. Don't automate, wait for a Friday review meeting, the end of the month, or a manager asking questions. If the decision date moves, record it. If a competitor enters the deal, record it. If the customer says no, close it properly. That gives your team a sales view based on current customer decisions, not old hope. Conclusion: keep the deal folder current. Think of opportunity management as keeping a deal folder for each serious sales conversation. Keep it current, and your forecast will show what customers are likely to buy. Subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and share this knowledge nugget with someone learning Dynamics 365 sales. Next time a customer decides that opportunity should show won or lost, not sit open with a date from last quarter.